Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this Invest 98E discussion for July 13th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, I would ask that every single one of you please smash that subscribe button and ring the bell notifications. Thank you guys so much for 600 subscribers. Let's get to our next goal of 700 subscribers and to our next long-term goal of the big 1,000. So please smash that subscribe button and ring the bell notifications, as well as watching the whole video. Both of these things really do support my channel, and watching the whole video, it's a win-win. You get the best part of the content, and I get the watch time, which I really do need for my channel. And please also like and share this video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So we have Invest 98E on our hands here for the Eastern Pacific, and Tropical Storm Christina has recently just died out. I don't think it ever became a hurricane. I don't remember seeing it become a hurricane. If it did, it was very briefly. I think it got the winds of about 60, 70 miles an hour. Really died out quick, honestly. Moving out to sea. Actually, it might even be in the Central Pacific by now, actually. No, it's not even there. So we did actually fully dissipate overnight. But here is our storm that we have, and the formation chances have actually dropped. It's moving west very quickly towards those colder waters and out in the Central Pacific. It's moving that west-northwest direction. But thunderstorm activity has increased. It's become a little bit more concentrated overnight with a small low pressure area located 200 miles southeast of Socorro Island. Environmental conditions will gradually become more conducive for development, but this could become a tropical depression in the next day or so, because as you can see, the development chances within the next 5 days and 2 days remain the same. And what that tells me is that if this does form, this is going to form in the next 24 to 40 or even 50 hours here. But it's moving west at 20 miles an hour. So this is moving west at a very, very quick rate here. But by Wednesday night, though, conditions become unfavorable for development. And today is Monday. So it's got pretty much today and tomorrow and maybe early Wednesday for development. Now, when we look at the ship side and outside message, I decided to show this earlier this time. If you look at the wind shear currently, it's going to have a small window of development. Why do I say this? Well, wind shear right now is completely horrible, but it could get better. It looks like it will get better over the next 24, 36 hours. We got shear of about less than 10 knots. But at the same time as the wind shear is dropping, meaning more conducive conditions for development, the ocean temperature is actually going to be dropping. So it's got to find a perfect window where the wind shear is not too bad, yet the ocean temperature is still warm. So we got one thing favoring us, which is the wind shear, but one thing that's not favoring us is the ocean water, because it's starting to be on a downtrend. But as for right now, the ocean water is still well into the 80s, which is good news. Again, storm speed is going to remain about 20 miles. It's going to be moving at 20 miles an hour up until its death. All right, and the heat content here, not too high. We talk about 10, 11, which is very low in the heat content scale. Invest 98E. Current winds are 30 miles per hour. It's got pressure of 1,008 millibars, which is still pretty high pressure. So obviously, the lower the pressure in millibars, the stronger the wind here. And we don't have too strong winds. Our winds aren't too strong. And if you look at the satellite loop here, I don't know why it's going away like that. And you might be wondering, the Weather Dude, did you just speed up the satellite loop? And I did not. All right, as you can see, you can look at the timestamp up here. This loop is not moving all that fast. But it is moving fast, this tropical storm. Or I should say Invest. Possibly to be a tropical storm. You can see it looks very ragged. I mean, it's got that counterclockwise circular motion, but the low center, I'd say, is maybe right here, and here's your area of strongest convection. So again, when that strongest area of convection is right on top of the low center like that, it just honestly just does not help matters here. And you can see we do have, again, thunderstorm activity has increased, but I think there's honestly a lot. I think we're seeing some wind shear battle on the top right of the storm here. I think we're starting to see some shear kind of blowing all the cloud activity over here. Or it's getting actually blown this way, and the low center is staying right here. So we're starting to see some westerly shear come in, and that ain't good for development. Not good at all. Let's take a look at what as low is currently. As you can see, we got another major update here. Looks like it is sitting at about 110.5 degrees west and about 16.5 degrees north by rough estimate here. So that's where the current low center is in terms of the exact coordinates. let's take a look at the model tracking guidance. Except for the COTI, which tends to do this a lot, don't know why. A lot of the models do take it a general trend over the next couple of days to the west. Now, the good news is, you might be thinking, well, whoa, is this heading for Hawaii? Maybe I have some Hawaii viewers out there. But Hawaii, this will probably die within about 3 days anyway. So by the time it reaches Hawaii, it's going to be raggedy old low. I bet you it won't really be a low pressure by the time if it reaches Hawaii, if it even does. So, I mean, this is probably going to develop over open water if it does develop at all. All right. But again, that's the latest model tracking guidance here. And again, you can see that it's taking it in general west direction. Pretty much all the models do agree with that if it wasn't for the COTI model. All right. But as for the GFS tracks, these actually do all agree. But you can see that these darker blues mean a slightly weaker storm, and the teal blues mean slightly stronger. Although none of the models really do develop this much. When you look at, so you can see it's kind of weak right now. Get into those teal colors, then we're back to dark blue, then back to teal, then dark. So it's gonna pretty much maintain the same strength that it is now. Moving in pretty much a due west direction, pressure remains exactly the same. If not, it might go up. So the development chances aren't really too strong, but the National Hurricane Center does have some confidence in this. And if it can start developing now while the water temperatures are warm and the wind shear is not that bad, I think that this does have a chance. Okay, one bullish model does take this all the way out to Hawaii, but it'll probably be very weak by then. That's why this map is zoomed out. If it wasn't for that one model taking this all the way out here, the map would be a lot more, zoomed in because all the other models are in this location right here. But if we look at the GEPS tracks, you can see that, I mean, not bad. Some models do take into that green category, which is 1,000 to 1,005 millibars of pressure, which is not too weak of a storm, probably like a tropical depression. But not too many models have have really faith in this, I should say. Maybe the Mexican coastline gets some weak little waves from this. Maybe some rip current danger for Cabo San Lucas if it happens, like when it passes at its closest point to Cabo San Lucas. But when you look at the model intensity guidance, you can see that, I mean, only one bullish model makes us a tropical storm. Other than that, a lot of the models just kind of weaken this. Some weaken it at a slower rate, some weaken it at a very rapid rate. All right. So either way, all the models are trending this thing down. So unless we get a 12Z update here, this is 6Z update. If we get a 12Z update, and maybe stuff will turn around. But other than that, none of the models except for one really develop this into a tropical storm. Now, again, the current low center is right about here. Again, about 111 west or so, about 16.5 north. So let's take a look at the sea surface temperature anomalies. All right. It's just now entered some waters that are slightly above average, which is good news. That's why the thunderstorm activity has been increasing, because it's just now entered those above average sea surface temperatures. But there's your developing La Nina right there to the south. That's your equator right there. There's your developing La Nina. When you look at the actual ocean temperatures, pretty much no matter what, it's going to be, decently warm. We got 80s, maybe mid 80s, but not as warm as the Atlantic though. Pacific in the early season beats out the Atlantic, but eventually the Atlantic is actually winning. I mean, in terms of ocean temperatures right now, in terms of warmer ocean water. But again, once it makes its way a certain point west, once it passes Cabo San Lucas, if it's far north enough, it's going to start entering these waters. Those dangerous, flip-floppy waters where might do well, but it will probably turn out bad. And if it happens to make a north turn into these waters, yeah, I pretty much kiss the storm goodbye. But as of right now, it is sitting in some decently warm ocean water, which is not bad for development. We got to talk about 80s here. When we look at the GFS model and the precipitation, you can see that it does develop a low center, 1,007 millibars, then it goes right back up to 1,010. So this will be your best chance right here at Tuesday morning, according to the GFS model. It does develop some thunderstorm activity near the center, but the pressure is already starting to go up, and the low is done by then. As we head through Tuesday into Wednesday, the storm is pretty much done. If you look at the, this is the surface winds here, and you can see that the max wind right now is only 16.5 knots. I mean, and we're talking about 18 knots, maybe 20, but that's only 25 mile per hour winds. So the models don't really have much faith in this. And I track this because I think it does have a possible, it does have a chance of development. We know the Pacific is good for developing these storms. But then again, the models don't have too much confidence in it, but the National Hurricane Center does have some good confidence in it. So it's always nice to watch it. When we look at the, let's look at the cyclonic vorticity signature here, and you can see. Let me go back here because too far ahead. Here's the I guess that's what's left of Christina maybe, but there's your low right there. All right, there's your what we call your tropical low, your quote unquote developing tropical system, and there it goes. All right, it does look like it's getting a little bit of rotation. It's not fully circular though, like this one up here was. It's not looking fully circular. It's just a little yellow raggedy mess, honestly. When you look at the wind shear anomalies, this is one of the reasons why. Wind shear anomalies are above average what they should be in the Pacific Ocean, at least through July 18th here. And that's obviously very bad news for development, but I say with this is still something to watch. Let's look at the Canadian model. Let's look at a few maps from the Canadian model before we wrap it up here. And as you can see with the precipitation rate, we do have the low pressure, and then the low pressure is kind of gone by Tuesday. And we see, and look, there's nothing left of the storm by 2 a.m. Wednesday. All the convective activity is gone, except for a couple of green specks, which I don't even know if that's even part of the low. But according to the Canadian, it's at its strongest level right now. 24 knots of wind, which is 30 miles per hour or so, 29 miles per hour. Sustained winds right now. And then it's going to weaken. 20 knots, 19 knots, 16 knots. So we'll see if in the next model updates that maybe they're going to start putting some more faith in this, because the National Hurricane Center did say that it became a little bit better organized overnight. So maybe once the next set of model runs come out, maybe they'll start having some more confidence in this. But as of right now, it doesn't honestly look like that. And when we look at the GEM model in terms of the cyclonic vorticity signature, as you can see, it looks pretty impressive now. I think that's when it looks its best, because by the time you head up a couple days, it's going to start entering, again, that wind shear, a little bit more wind shear, little colder waters, maybe possibly even a little bit, tiny bit of dry air. So all these little factors are going to cut into this to really inhibit the development. And the wind shear looks even worse with the GEM model. I mean, wind shear is like 20, 25 knots above average of where the storm is sitting right now. So not completely good news for this, but I'd say it does have a 50% chance plus of development, which is definitely something to watch. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I am Do Other Dude, signing off. Till next time, catch you guys in the next video.